Smash Ultimate's DLC life is finally done, and while that does mean Nintendo can no longer deploy a hype character reveal to take away attention from their terrible business practices, it does make it a bit more likely that any glitches we find now will be left as is, which is perfect for today's video. I don't know if you read the title right, but today's video is focusing on only one random fact, not facts. But this fact is a very big one with a lot of crazy tests, so stick around. This was brought to my attention by Solus. I know this isn't the first time a glitch like this has come out or been told to me, but this is the first time I was shown a consistent setup for it, so thank you. In concept, the setup for this is actually incredibly simple. You want Yoshi and some other character, and you want to go to Halberd. At the very beginning, go to a part of the stage off to the side, like where I am here. The foundation of this glitch is timing Yoshi's egg lay with the liftoff of the platform. If your timing is too early, Yoshi will lay the egg as normal. And if you're too late, both you and the other character will get KO'd. But with that Goldilocks timing, you can make it so Yoshi gets KO'd just before the egg lay happens, which completely glitches out the other character. You'll notice that Yoshi is the only one who respawns, and on the minimap you see player 1 somewhere. The minimap is both accurate and inaccurate, which you'll see throughout the video. I can only move sideways here, at least assuming the minimap is right. Things get interesting when I try an input. See, I am just hitting Kirby's jab 1, and yet the move sounds like Kirby's neutral air, and the damage reflects that too, suggesting that Kirby is currently airborne, which makes sense. Yet Kirby's neutral air hits Yoshi no matter where either of them are. The whole positioning thing is super weird, leading me to believe that Kirby isn't just invisible, but rather just totally messed up. Yoshi can hit Kirby too, he seems to constantly be a little bit over a jab's distance away from him. Though knockback is still kinda weird. You can keep applying sideways knockback, or just move to the side blast zone, as depicted by the minimap. And when you do this, you'll get KO'd just fine. Afterwards, when you respawn, your character is now a silhouette, completely pitch black. I've always really liked this aesthetic, I gotta admit. And not only this, but this effect is preserved even after you reset training mode. Given how many parts there are to this, the testing ended up giving me a lot of things to talk about. I don't normally do videos focused on one specific topic, but I think this time it's warranted. And even in this video, I don't plan on covering every possible aspect of this glitch, just some of the major points I happen to come across. Before getting into anything, I want to say that this worked for every character I tried. I didn't do the whole cast, but considering how it was fine in all my tests and given the logic I started to come up with, I'm pretty confident that it works for everyone. Now at this point, I'm going to split the video into a few parts with a focus on specific areas of the glitch. Starting off is what I'll call the Invisibility Section. For the first test, I tried using PK Thunder, using the motions that would cause the projectile to hit Lucas. And while Yoshi is getting hit by the projectile, Lucas does not get sent anywhere. So who can even say what's happening to the projectile? Also, after this, Lucas is in free fall, as he would normally be, and can't do any inputs unless Yoshi hits him. Next, I tried applying a bunch of upwards knockback to Lucas, which resulted in him accruing over 500% without being KO'd. It's worth noting that, before this, the cannon in the background seemed to be aiming way up, and the cannonball goes nowhere. Or rather, it explodes immediately, and somehow this hits Lucas, as his damage goes up higher than it did from just a single up air. What this suggests is that the machine attacks instantly hit the glitched character somehow. This is supported by the point in which Lucas finally does get KO'd. The claw thing in the background starts its motions and somehow hits Lucas before it even attacks. Then you can see on the minimap that he very quickly takes side knockback because of this and gets KO'd. So the upwards knockback didn't seem to be doing anything. Also, for some reason, when a character is in this stuck in invisibility stage, Yoshi's egg toss eggs are also silhouetted, but only every other egg. I have no idea why it'd be every other egg, but perhaps that just happens to be the same model used for the normal egg lay egg. This doesn't apply to Yoshi's egg roll or shield. Next, you know how if you're player 1 and hit pause during training mode, the camera zooms towards you? Well, if player 1 is then in this crazy weird position, if I hit pause, we enter Nirvana. I tried spawning several items, one of which being a smash ball, and eventually decided to use an attack as Yoshi, and it automatically hit said smash ball. So there's no telling where that smash ball spawned, but likely in the same completely glitched out position that puts them constantly next to Yoshi. When I use the final smash, we very briefly see that Yoshi is a complete silhouette, and the background is very weird. And after that, we enter the void. If I use Ness's Final Smash, everything is really dark. This is creepypasta material right here. So what if Yoshi is the player 1 instead? If this is the case, pausing during the glitch is now fine. So with this we can test even more things. If you spawn items, they all seem to interact with the glitched character okay. A superstar will give them invincibility, as they are not taking any damage here. And a mushroom will work on them too, as you can tell by the sound, though it doesn't seem to really affect their hurt box, as Yoshi's jab still doesn't hit them. Let's go to the meat of the item test though, with Final Smashes. If Yoshi grabs it, everything is just fine, but when he uses it, it doesn't hit anyone. Even though his side tilt is very easily hitting the opponent, the Final Smash just doesn't register. But if the glitched character grabs the Final Smash, once again we go to white space. And if they use said Final Smash, again we go back to black space. Here's what's interesting. If the glitched character gets KO'd, they come back to reality, right? It's hard to tell on screen, but trust me, they are now physically on the stage. Given this, if I make it to where Yoshi gets his Final Smash and uses it with good positioning, it now works. In said Final Smash, while the Yoshis at the start are fine, after they get on the hill they all turn into silhouettes as well, which is really crazy. And after this, the screen goes back to normal, but now both of the characters are silhouettes. In an alternative route, if the glitched character uses a cutscene Final Smash without KOing themselves first, everything in it is crazy looking as usual, but afterwards both characters are glitched. So Falcon here brought Yoshi down to his level, or wherever that is. Using this opportunity, if Falcon uses Falcon Punch on the now glitched Yoshi, that actually turns the screen black too. Likely because it's supposed to zoom in here, but obviously there's nothing to really zoom in to. Also, I'll leave the Final Smash tests to that, as I want to move on to other things, but if anyone finds anything else crazy, let me know down in the comments. I'll make a pinned comment about any other big findings. Next, I had done a test with Ridley, just goofing around, until I got to this section. The first attack the machine in the background did was a laser, and it seemed that the laser was pointed at the currently glitched Ridley. Since Ridley is basically non-existent and the machine couldn't handle that fact, it just disappears. Somehow the laser works just fine, hitting both Yoshi and Ridley, but after that it doesn't do anything again. And after a lot of waiting, it became apparent that the stage wasn't going to transition anymore too. I guess the stage is programmed to transition after the machine has done 3 attacks, but since it's glitched out now, the stage is just unable to move on. Oh yeah, also if you move the glitched character on the minimap to run into the non-glitched character, they'll actually physically run into each other, which is why you can see Yoshi here being pushed by nothing, which is really weird on so many other levels considering how the glitched character's hurtbox and whatnot works. I think that'll be it for this specific topic of the glitch though, so next up, let's move on to the actual silhouette portion of it, shall we? It's worth noting from the start that everyone we've seen so far looks pretty normal, outside of the obvious fact that they're pitch black. But this isn't a constant. Proof being when I did this with Toon Link. He now looks like this. I don't know what it is, but his hat is just gone. And we'll see other examples like this later. Like I said at the start, I didn't test the entire cast, but I did cover a good deal of characters, especially those with more unique quirks. The first one being Ice Climbers. Enacting this glitch, only the primary Ice Climber will be in this invisibility state, which makes sense since Yoshi's Egglay can only affect one character at a time. And when they respawn, only said primary Ice Climber will be silhouetted, which also makes sense as that's the only one of the Ice Climbers that was present during that glitch state. So if we reset and set this up again, but with the secondary Ice Climber instead, if timed right, while they'll still get instantly KO'd, they'll now respawn silhouetted as well. The next character of interest to me was Joker, for 2 reasons. One being that his Final Smash looks actually really cool now that he's silhouetted, compared to the old version. The silhouette effect really matches the whole style, it's actually kinda cool. But the biggest reason is Arsene. You'll notice that Joker's cape is missing most of the time, only appearing for a split second when he crouches. But when Arsene appears, he's perfectly fine, all colorful and stuff. So this had me thinking, what if I have Arsene active when I do the glitch? And sure enough, when I get KO'd and re-summon Arsene, he's now silhouetted as well. I gotta say, the logic behind all the facets of this glitch are equally consistent and crazy. I really like that. Next character of interest was Pyra and Mythra. Doing this glitch turns Pyra into something a little off. The parts that are specifically off are her hair and her breasts. Given this and how Toon Link's hat and Joker's cape were also ruined initially, and I think it's possible that this glitch messes up certain model parts that have dynamic physics applied to them, or something along those lines. Now, if you then switch, Mythra will look just fine, as her model wasn't submitted to the Dark Realm. If you then go back to Pyra, her model is fine now. I don't know what fixed it, but I guess it did. And now it's the same song and dance. Go back and redo the glitch, this time switching to Mythra while in invisible mode. And now both characters are silhouetted. They're also both glitched, but they get better after a few swaps. By now you should sort of be getting a feel for the logic behind this glitch. So let's apply this to Pokemon Trainer 2. If I do it with Squirtle, when I respawn, Ivysaur and Charizard are normal, but Squirtle is silhouetted. And all the same logic as with Pyra and Mythra. However, if you move left and right, the Pokemon Trainer in the background will follow your general position. And if you switch Pokemon, he'll throw somewhere, and it'll work just fine. However, if you switch Pokemon while getting closer to the center or something, for whatever reason, your Pokemon will spawn on stage now, without being KO'd or anything. Once again, I'm baffled by what on earth is even happening here. Also, if you switch enough during this glitch state, the actual Pokeballs that the Pokemon Trainer throws are now silhouetted as well. The last character of interest here was Inkling. If I do it normally, she's silhouetted, but her ink is still fine, as is her squid form, and her splat bomb and all that. However, if I do it again, but use all 4 of her specials in the glitched form, when I come back, her squid form is now also silhouetted, as is her splat bomb. Though, surprisingly, her ink is not glitched in any way. Also, using ink on a silhouetted character doesn't change their appearance, nor does using a metal box. Actually, I'm adding to the script after the fact because I thought about testing Game & Watch too. I thought it'd be funny to show off what he looks like as a silhouette, you know? But, as it turns out, the glitch doesn't work on him. If you use some moves during the glitch state, there's a chance that some of his assets will be silhouetted, but even this is insanely inconsistent. As you can see, his up air and back air are silhouetted, but not his forward air, or most of his specials. It's kinda weird. I guess it's because of his more unique 2D nature, but that's still worth pointing out. So far, this is the only exception I've seen. But regardless of this exception, I'm sure you understand how this glitch generally works by now. And while there's plenty more things to potentially test, to prevent getting redundant, I'll just leave things there and move on to the last bit of this video. You see, I'm not focusing too much on the explanation of how this is all happening because I really don't know. There's just so many weird things happening that I can't even begin to pinpoint a good explanation for any of them, let alone all of them. But the biggest point in my mind is the idea that the character somehow gets left at this liftoff section of the stage, in Yoshi's egg, somehow not being KO'd, meaning they're just sorta left here. Since the stage doesn't ever come back here, it's possible that the assets just get unloaded. And since the character is hypothetically left there, their assets would also get unloaded. This doesn't fully explain how the character's hurt box is close to Yoshi, yet the minimap and collision model move freely left to right, nor does it really explain why the character's model is messed up even after resetting training mode when we get to revisit this part of the stage. That's all to say, I still don't really know what's going on here. But this much makes me at least want to test some things. First, what if I do this glitch while stage morph is active? If I stay in the glitched form, when the stage morphs, I just get automatically KO'd and become a silhouette like usual. And when I go back to Halberd and thus return to the liftoff section, nothing changes, so there's that. But here's the thing, if I look into the camera right as this glitch is technically activated, you can see right below us the section we were just at. Yet despite how good of an angle I got and how good of timing I can get, I can't quite see where Kirby would hypothetically be here. He would hypothetically be right here, but he's just not visualized anywhere. Combined with that, have you ever wondered what happens to this whole section of the stage? Well, a few seconds after liftoff, it just sort of disappears from existence. This would give credibility to the idea that the assets are being unloaded, but remember that with the secondary Ice Climber, they got KO'd instantly after liftoff, and they still became a silhouette, despite the fact that the liftoff section wouldn't have unloaded that quickly. So overall, I don't know, this glitch is just weird. And for a few short final tests, with the help of the S flag, I tried to see what happens if you go into sudden death while someone is in this glitch, and what happens is, as expected, they're just a silhouette during sudden death now. And for all of the end screens, no contest, loss, or victory, the character will again stay a silhouette. And I think that's about everything I felt interested in talking about regarding this glitch. I don't usually do videos dedicated around one topic, but when I was writing this script, the idea of cutting this information down to like 5 minutes worth of content just didn't sit right with me. Even if some of those tests ended up getting a bit redundant towards the end, I think fleshing this crazy glitch out a bit more was worth it, so I hope you enjoyed. Even now, after having written the script and everything, I'm thinking of a lot of other small things I'd like to test, especially regarding characters like Steve. But you know, I had to get the video out at some point. So I think any future ideas or findings regarding this glitch will just go to a future random facts video as a small section. Speaking of which, let me know what you think about this glitch down in the comments, as well as any of your own crazy findings, and hopefully the couple of final patches for the game don't take this away. So with that, I'd like to thank Skully, Hobo King Niklz, Raighne, 7700, and all my other patrons for the support. Stay casual, and I'll see y'all later.